Despite completing all required training and obtaining a valid confined space entry permit, a worker entered a sewerage manhole, following all necessary safety precautions, including atmospheric testing and wearing personal protective equipment (PPE. The worker suddenly lost consciousness after approximately 5 minutes inside the manhole. Although the on-site emergency response team was quickly alerted and attempted a rescue, they were unable to retrieve the worker from the manhole. Immediately, external emergency service providers contacted, and eventually they rescued the worker, who regained consciousness after 15 minutes. This is the scenario, a confined space incident. And you know very well, in the first two parts of our incident investigation training series, we have covered the top 10 immediate reasons, key factors behind this confined space incident. Today, we'll talk about the deeper underlying causes. In the part 3, I'll focus on just the top 5 underlying causes to make the training session concise and effective. So, without further delay, let's dive. Before going in depth, I would like to memorize you that you are on the platform of Safety First Life. If you are visiting for the first time, kindly subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for all future notifications. And if you find the video informative, then like, comment and share it with your friends and colleagues. Dear friends and fellows, as a health and safety practitioner, this is your primary responsibility to prevent incidents and accidents, injuries and harm. But still, there are incidents. And if there is an incident in your project, you must know how to investigate, how to understand the difference between immediate, underlying, and root causes. By thorough investigations and by learning lessons from the incidents, you can prevent future occurrences on your worksite. So, let us discover the top 10 underlying causes of this confined space incident. Point number 1, dangers of inadequate continuous atmospheric monitoring. Continuous atmospheric monitoring is critical for detecting changes in oxygen levels, toxic gases, and other hazards in confined spaces. Without it, workers risk exposure to dangerous atmospheres unknowingly. Factors like leaking gases or oxygen depletion can quickly turn a seemingly safe environment hazardous. Misconceptions that initial atmospheric testing is sufficient ignore the dynamic nature of confined spaces. Inadequate training on the importance of real-time monitoring exacerbates this issue, as workers may not grasp the risks associated with stagnant or changing conditions. This oversight can result from a lack of understanding about the necessity of ongoing monitoring, underestimating the potential for rapid atmospheric changes, a reliance on initial tests alone, neglecting potential gas leaks, insufficient emphasis in training programs, failure to implement continuous monitoring protocols, overconfidence in PPE, poor communication of monitoring needs, and the assumption that confined spaces remain static environments. Very important. In simple words but the key points. As a safety practitioner, you should understand the importance of atmospheric testing throughout the operation. How important is it, and how hazardous it might be if not controlled? Point number 2, risks of inadequate confined space safety procedures. Remember, we are discussing the underlying causes of accident investigation. A worker trapped became unconscious in a confined space, sewerage, manhole. Remember, effective safety procedures are essential for safe confined space entry. When these procedures are inadequate, workers may lack clear guidance on how to safely enter and work within confined spaces, leading to confusion, errors, and oversights that increase the likelihood of accidents or injuries. Inadequate procedures can manifest in various ways, such as insufficient pre-entry checks that fail to identify hazards, or outdated protocols that don't reflect current best practices, and a lack of specific guidelines tailored to different types of confined spaces and their unique hazards and risks. Additionally, procedures that don't comprehensively address all potential risks leave workers vulnerable to unforeseen dangers. Without clear steps for emergency response, workers may be ill prepared to handle unexpected situations, escalating the severity of incidents. This can include the absence of proper atmospheric testing protocols, inadequate training on equipment use, insufficient communication strategies, and a lack of regular updates and reviews of safety procedures to adapt to new risks and technologies. Ultimately, inadequate safety procedures undermine the overall safety culture, leaving workers exposed to preventable hazards. You are on the platform of Safety First Life. We are investigating a confined space incident, and we are in part 3. What are the top 10 underlying causes of this confined space incident? Point number 3, dangers of inadequate supervision in confined space activities or operations. You know very well, supervision is most important. Supervision is crucial for ensuring compliance with confined space entry procedures and maintaining worker safety throughout the operation. Without adequate supervision, workers may take unnecessary risks or cut corners, leading to hazardous situations. Might be incident, accident, injury, or harm. A lack of supervision can result in overlooked safety protocols, safe systems of work, ineffective communication, and critical errors that compromise safety. For example, workers might neglect to perform essential atmospheric testing, misuse personal protective equipment, or fail to follow proper entry and exit procedures. Additionally, without a supervisor's watchful eye, the timely detection and response to emergencies are hindered, further increasing the risk of severe incident with potential consequences. You don't need to forget, inadequate supervision often stems from understaffing, where there are not enough supervisors to oversee all confined space activities. It can also result from insufficient training for supervisors, leaving them ill-equipped to enforce safety protocols and respond to emergencies effectively, efficiently, and timely. Furthermore, an organizational culture that doesn't prioritize, support safety oversight, contribute to negligent supervision. In such environments, safety may be seen as a secondary concern, leading to reduced vigilance and enforcement of safety measures. This lack of supervision can have dire consequences. Workers may become complacent, assume unsafe practices are acceptable, or be unaware of evolving hazards within confined spaces. The absence of a knowledgeable supervisor to guide and monitor activities can lead to poor decision making and an increased likelihood of accidents, injuries, and fatalities. Do you understand now why supervision is important? And if not, what might be the possible outcome? Accident, injury, or fatality. Accident investigation. Underlying cause number 4. Risk of insufficient confined space training. Important point. Proper training is crucial for ensuring that workers understand the risks associated with confined space entry and can perform their tasks safely. When training on confined space hazards and procedures is insufficient, workers may be ill prepared to recognize and respond to potential dangers. This insufficient training often stems from a lack of awareness about specific confined space hazards, as well as from inadequate or outdated training materials. If training is not provided regularly or lacks hands on practice and simulation exercises, workers are less likely to retain the necessary information and skills. Without comprehensive training, workers may not fully understand the importance of critical safety procedures such as proper atmospheric testing, the use of personal protective equipment, and emergency response procedures. This knowledge gap can lead to errors such as improper use of equipment, failure to recognize hazardous conditions, and taking unnecessary risks. Furthermore, inadequate training can result in poor decision making under pressure, as workers may not know how to handle unexpected situations effectively. Dear friends and fellows, the absence of regular and thorough training sessions can also contribute to complacency, where workers become overconfident and neglect safety measures. This situation is exacerbated when training does not evolve with new safety standards, technologies, and procedures, leaving workers equipped with outdated practices. Ultimately, insufficient training increases the likelihood of accidents, injuries, and fatalities, emphasizing the need for continuous, hands-on, and up-to-date training programs tailored to the specific challenges of confined space work. Most of the time, the safety officers, they are insisting for training, and the project and the construction team, they are make fun. Training, training, and training. Only training, no work. But remember, work with training, work with understanding the hazards, work with controlling the risk is much better than a potential major catastrophic accident. One major accident is enough to shut down a project. So, training is important. Point number 5. Dangers of complacency in routine confined space entries. This is the 5th. underlying cause that might be the reason of confined space incident. A worker became unconscious in a sewerage manhole. But here, you need to understand first of all what is complacency, a state of self satisfaction accompanied by unawareness of potential dangers, can develop among workers who routinely perform successful confined space entries. This overconfidence can be hazardous, leading workers to overlook potential risks or take unnecessary shortcuts. Complacency often arises from a mistaken belief that past successes guarantee future safety, diminishing the perceived need for vigilance. Workers may become less attentive to safety protocols, safe working procedures, permit to work system, such as thorough pre-entry checks, proper use of personal protective equipment, and continuous atmospheric monitoring. This false sense of security and safety can result in critical oversights, like failing to detect hazardous gases or ignoring changes in confined space conditions. The routine nature of the tasks might also lead workers to underestimate the inherent dangers associated with confined spaces, further contributing to risky behavior, incidents, or accidents. Additionally, complacency is exacerbated when there is a lack of regular reinforcement of safety procedures. If workers are not consistently reminded of the importance of adhering to safety measures and the ever-present risks of confined spaces, they may gradually lower their guard. This gradual decline in vigilance can create an environment where minor safety lapses become normalized, increasing the likelihood of serious incidents. This is no problem. I have done yesterday. I am doing since last 5 years. I can do it now. No need of a permit. No need to check. No need to bring a gas monitor for atmospheric testing. I know when there is gas, I can sense with my nose. These are the logics. These are the trends. These are the practices on a construction site. And usually all these practices are supported, unfortunately, by the construction team. If I'll conclude these top 5 underlying causes of a confined space incident, I would like to say the risks in confined space work are many and connected. Without constant atmospheric monitoring, workers might not notice dangerous changes. Poor safety procedures and lack of supervision can lead to missed steps and slow emergency responses. Inadequate training means workers might not recognize or handle hazards well. Complacency from routine, successful entries in confined spaces can make workers too confident, leading to risky shortcuts. To keep workers safe, it's crucial to have strong, ongoing safety practices and training. You know very well. This is part 3 of Accident Investigation Training Series, and we are going through the top 10 underlying causes. In the part 3, we have already discussed the top 5 underlying causes of a confined space incident. In the upcoming training session, I'll discuss the remaining 5 underlying causes. As a health and safety practitioner, you should know how to investigate an incident. Until and unless you are not able to understand the basic or the root causes of an accident or incident, your investigation is never fruitful beneficial, and complete. Hope to see you again in the part 4 of Accident Investigation Training Series. But for now, that's all. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and share the video. Hope to see you soon with a new HSC tutorial. Until then, take care. Good luck and goodbye.